2016 was a strange time to be a shonen anime fan. Heavy-hitting icons like Naruto and Bleach were finished. Attack on Titan had a massive break between seasons. And series like Seven Deadly Sins and Haikyuu were at the peak of their powers. I myself was in a strange period, not quite enjoying shonen as much as I had previously, and I felt that something was missing from the newer series that I had been watching. Then I found One Punch Man. The premise was simple. The main character Saitama was a shonen protagonist at the end of his story, striving and failing to have a thrilling fight. He now spends his life worrying more about the mundane, with his favorite hobby being a hero, with the world being entirely unaware of his power. His gimmick, of course, was that he could beat any opponent without much effort, usually in a single punch. As the story expanded, we got to focus on other characters, like Genos, the S-Class Heroes, and the Monster Association. After finishing Season 1, I found myself digging into the manga, and in no small part, thanks to Murata's beautiful art, One Punch Man quickly became one of my favorite anime manga of all time. Seeing heroes battling monsters, Garo's individual character journey, and even the constant suggestions that there's something beyond any monster out there was fun. Not to mention the series' comedy, which at this point was beyond most battle-centric manga of this style. And it wasn't just Saitama. King stands in as a great modern Mr. Satan, and all the other S-Class heroes had their time to shine as well. The series was incredibly amusing, all while keeping Saitama being Saitama. But everything changed with just a few chapters, namely the chapters surrounding the Saitama vs Garo fight, which might have, barring any redraws that may occur, have ruined the series for me. So what happened? It was the reveal of the secret of Saitama's strength. It's in these chapters that we finally learn of Saitama's growth factor, and I hate it. On a more personal level, I'd have strongly preferred if the peak of Saitama's strength remained unknown. It's the biggest piece of intrigue in the entire story. Just how strong is Saitama, and will he ever find someone who can match him? This is a question that shouldn't have been answered. Or if one had to give it an answer, he should have waited until the very end of the series. Because what this endless growth factor scenario does is that it firstly suggests the idea that God is stronger than Saitama. God gave Garo the ability to roughly match Saitama for a brief time, and then also took those same powers away and got rid of Garo easily. Not only that, but it basically guarantees that Saitama will meet his ultimate match in his final confrontation with God. If one felt the need to explain Saitama's endless growth factor, then he's basically leading us to believe that his current level isn't enough, and that he'll need to catch up to whoever his final opponent will be, effectively spoiling the series ending. There's no doubt in my mind Saitama will struggle in his fight with God, bleeding, gasping, near death, while surpassing his limits to achieve victory, just like any ordinary shonen protagonist. Which in my eyes goes against the entire point of the character. This is the story of a man who couldn't be matched, and his need to cope with that ultimately resulting in an aloof existence. With Saitama going through the tediousness of life while focused on the mundane in a world that seems silly and uninviting. Watching Saitama accept that, and finding his own brand of meaning via heroic deeds, that was the appeal of the story, and that's what made Saitama a great character. Now he's the same as anyone else in One Punch Man, and just like many other main characters in shonen. And I hate to admit it, but the story had been on a decline from before this. The Monster Association arc was incredibly bloated, with tons of unnecessary redraws and extra characters. I mean, think about it. Did Sage Centipede or Platinum Sperm really need to exist? And worst of all, the time traveling, which effectively removed all consequences and stakes from a story that didn't have much of either to begin with. Now, One Punch Man was never a parody like some people claimed, but it was also never a run-of-the-mill battle shonen. It was a funny, semi-serious action show with parody elements, with a surprisingly deep conflict within its main character, and it feels like one has forgotten that. And man, it made me fall out of love with one of my favorite manga ever. But I'm just one guy. Maybe I'm wrong. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It really helps me out, and I'll see you guys next time.